quick show of hands. Who here believes in magic? About half of you, yeah. All right, so the rest of you, I want you to rewind your mind to like 6 years old. So it's a 6-year-old you sitting in this chair, world full of wonder. And I want to ask the same question again to the whole room by a show of hands. Who here believes in magic? Right. So at some point in time, every single one of us knew that magic was real. We knew it. And then at some point in time, we forget. And that's okay, because for the past 20 years, I have been convincing people that magic is very much real. And I forget too, often. And last year, as a remedy for me forgetting to practice what I preach, I decided to hit up all the open mics that I could throughout the city. And that included some poetry slams. And last February, kick-starting this mission, I wanted to go to this Grand Slam, Poetry Slam finals, this big event. I didn't know what to expect. I've never been to a Poetry Slam before. So I went to sign up and my friend was going to come with me and the tickets were all sold out. And my friend was like, yeah, don't worry, I've got this. And she sent an email. I don't know if you're aware of how it feels to be disappointed. Yeah, they responded with 2 free tickets, and then we went to Town Hall. 2,000 people, right, in this regal old building. I don't know if you've been to Town Hall in Sydney, but it's one of the oldest things we've got here, and you can feel it. And there were 2,000 people in the crowd, and I sat there and I could feel the energy brewing. Sometimes energy in an event is tangible, right? Yeah, you can almost grab it. And we were there, and they were rumbling on the floor, and people were snapping and cheers, and these poets were coming out. They get 3 minutes each. And I was moved by the power in their voices as these people were speaking their truth. And I could feel it rippling through every single person in the room. And I was like, I'm gonna be on that stage next year. What do I need to do? And then as if by magic, because words are magic, the host comes out and he's like, every single poet you see here on stage tonight, they earned their spot by coming all the way out to the Bankstown Poetry Slam that happens each month. They signed up, they dropped their name in a hat, and at some point their name may have been pulled out, and they got up on that stage and they won. Now I know what I need to do. So 2 weeks later is the next event. So I get on the train at Wynyard and I make my way out west, right, all the way out to Bankstown. And I'm on my journey. I'm nice and early. I don't know if there's any creatives in the room, but being on time is a challenge, yeah? So I'm early, I'm running ahead of schedule, and I get off the train and I'm feeling myself. I'm in my best t-shirt, and I look around and I'm at Blacktown. Yeah, Blacktown. Apparently the Bankstown Poetry Slam ain't in Blacktown, and I'm 10 years deep, and I'm still feeling like a tourist as I've just stepped off that plane. So with a whole lot of willpower, an Uber, a train, and a few ninja maneuvers, I get there just in time. And my friend, who was there with me at the Grand Slam, she puts my name in the hat for me, and they say to me a spot. So I managed to squeeze in just before the host intros the night. And I sat through, and there was powerful poets. I'm starting to understand this feeling as we're in this marvelous theatre with 200 people in the crowd. And right near the end of the night, I get my name pulled out of the hat. And I make my way up there, I get on stage and I do my thing. First poetry slam that I've ever been to compete in, and I left that stage with a prize, first place and a guaranteed ticket to the Grand Slam in 2025, right? Words are magic. I don't know what was in me making me say I will be on that stage next year, but we made it happen in just 2 weeks. I don't think I've ever ticked off a goal that quickly before. So there we go. I got to work my way up to it. And there was something that really pulled me into the beauty of the moment at that slam, and it was the energy from the crowd. Because I've been performing magic for 20 years, right, as a professional magician and mind reading, future predicting kind of character. And really, I get the reactions at the end of the moment, the gasps and the applause. So there's lots of validation, but there's something about the poetry community where people like are in the moment. So if like something you hear resonates with you, you might like snap, or you might be like, or you might like rumble your feet, or woo. Like you can make noises. In fact, you're encouraged to, because that like kind of empowers the person on stage to give more. And I think that's really powerful. So the crazy part is I stepped into a stage role the next day at a keynote after raising the roof the night before and coming first. And it was like 16 hours later, so I've got my swag, I've just like got a spot in the finals, mate, first go, got my spot. And I step up there with this energy, and I get into this stage, and I share exactly the same verse with the same cadence and the same ferocity. Room full of corporates. Fucking crickets. And it's not their fault, they didn't know. They didn't know what it was to encourage the person on stage. They didn't know how to react when this person's up here doing his thing. But fortunately, you're gonna learn how to do that, right? So all of you can give me one of these, yeah? Let's make it like rain on a tin roof. Yeah. Imagine you're running home in that rain. I want to hear that rumble. Yeah, all right. And then you get through the door and you let mum know you are home. Woo! And then you smell her cooking. All right, you are across all the noises we need to know. I'm going to share it with you, and when I share this piece with you, you're going to like give me those moments, and there's going to be little moments in the room where someone over here gets one of my stupid jokes and likes it and snaps, and someone over here is going to like resonate with a deeper meaning of what I'm saying. They're going to be like, and slowly we're going to feel the energy move through the room, and that will feed back into me, because words are magic. Yeah. And the word abracadabra is like 2,000 years old, and it translates to, as we speak, we create. Our words manifest our reality. So I've been putting a lot of focus on my diction to speak with conviction and clarity, because I try to say what I mean, try to mean what I say. But what meaning of the word mean do I mean? Is it mean as in average? Or is it that savage kind of mean as in cruel? So I learned both of these meanings at school. I was a pupil, like the middle of an eye. And if you look at I as a word, in the middle is a why. And why is a question. Why do our words perform misdirection? If I say that our language is flawed, is that floor like the ground? Or is it grounds like weed or buy the pound? Or pound like the currency I earn? You know an urn is a jar like a door. Adore means to love. And like the coastline, I am sure I love language. Language is my love language. But how many of us can honestly say that we actually understand it? Yeah, I try to make sense, like change for $1. I try taking notes, like cash payments. I try to stay present, like gifts with a bow. And I try to stay current, like raisins. But every time I try to make my point like decimal, the meaning is somewhat questionable, so I try to stay patient like I'm with the doctor, but wait. Weight could mean heavy or light. Light could mean radiantly bright. Bright could mean smart, like the opposite of casual. We casually learn to read without picking up a manual. I am driven to say that it's fine. But what meaning of fine do I mean? Is it fine as in okay? Fine as in attractive? Fine as in intricate? Or a fine, like the outcome of a bill we don't pay? There is no way that we can say what we mean and mean what we say. And like New Year's Day in 4K, what's the resolution? How do we elevate our elocution if language is a delicate illusion? Well, look, we can put our soul in it, like a new shoe. Stupid. Yeah, we can work on our wordplay wizardry. and validate our verbal voodoo. And you too can try it if you find it compelling, because words are magic. That's why it's called spelling.